Hey everybody! Well, this week Esperanza is still gone on her trip, so I decided I'm going to show you what my maintenance duties are here at Pufferfish Villas. And this is my favorite part of owning this place because I love to be the maintenance man. I get up in the morning and it gives me something to do. We're Douglas and Esperanza, and we decided to leave our lives in the US, sell almost everything we own, and move to Baja California Sur, where we decided to start a resort in the magical town of Loreto, Mexico. Please come with us to follow our journey and live before you die. Okay, today I'm doing some maintenance down here on Villa 1. I'm going to get maintenance done on both villas in between guests because they're going to be open most of the day. One of the things that we've been wanting to do is to replace the rain shower head with a shower head on a cord. Well, I guess you call it a handheld shower head. This just makes it a little bit easier to use the shower, and also it makes it a lot easier to clean the shower because now you can take the sprayer off and use it to clean the shower. So it's going to make it easier for our cleaning crew to clean the showers and speed that up a little bit. And these are really nice shower heads. They have 3 different spray options that are really nice. Super easy to replace. Just unscrew it with your hand and then screw the new one on. I have that one replaced. I'll replace the one in the other villa after the guests leave. They're just packing up to leave. So I'm also out here doing maintenance on the air conditioners. So the mini splits do need to be maintained, and really the monthly maintenance, or maybe every bi-weekly maintenance, depending how much they're used. You need to clean the filters. Then once a year, you do a deep cleaning where they actually come in with like a power washer and they pull the electronics out. They bag the whole AC unit up on the wall with a drain, and then they literally power wash the AC unit, everything out, to get all the dirt and dust out of the fins and everything else. So that's usually once a year you do that, so once a season. So I am cleaning the filters. You can see this has probably been a month since I cleaned them. It doesn't look really bad, but there definitely is some dirt in there. I'll show you after they get cleaned. In fact, I'll clean one and I'll show you the before and after. So really easy to do the maintenance on these things. So they have a cover. All of them are the same. They have a cover. You open up the cover, and then under here, they'll have, these are all the fins that it sucks the air down through to cool it and then shoots it out. And they all have some type of filter over these fins. And so you can kind of see the dirt in there. So let me go pull the one in the bedroom, and then we will wash these out and throw them back in here. All right, now I don't know if you can see the difference. Here's the one I just cleaned, and here is a dirty one. And I think you can see that there is some dust in there. Now, if you leave this thing a long time, what happened is it will actually get so much dirt in here that it'll clog up all this filter, and then the air conditioner will start to malfunction. It'll have problems. It'll condense water and leak water down the wall, could freeze up. So it's important to keep these things clean. And I wanted to mention here that beyond being a maintenance issue as far as the functioning of the air conditioner, which it definitely can be, this can become a big health issue. And this is one reason I really like the mini splits over any kind of central air conditioning. The air quality coming through that air conditioning can be incredibly bad. if you don't keep everything really clean and maintain the system on a very regular basis, then mold can start to grow. When you're using ducted air conditioning, like they do in some big buildings, those insides of those ducts can get mold in them, get dirt, all kinds of allergens. And so, to me, this is a much better and healthier way to do air conditioning, because all the air literally just goes through the air conditioner, through the coil right there. It's only in this much space. It comes in and then goes out in this much space. It doesn't go through any ducting, and so you can get to all the space where the air goes through and clean it. And you can clean those fins and clean out that whole part. And as long as you do that, you'll have nice, healthy air conditions inside your villa, and you won't have to worry about mold allergies or dust allergies, asthma, anything like that, because you're cleaning the air and only having really clean air. All right, I got these screens, these filters all cleaned and reinstalled, and you can see they look beautiful, nice and clean, and we're gonna have nice clean air in this villa. And I just got the other one done too. Another monthly maintenance item completed. I'm down here this morning doing my pool duties, and I don't think I've ever showed you guys what I do for chlorine. Back up when I was in the US, I lived in Southern California, in Vista, California, and I did all my own pool maintenance there. And I used liquid chlorine. It's the most convenient. It's what all the pool guys up there use. Comes in 1 gallon jugs, and you just take it. You store, 4 or 8. I would usually have 8 jugs, and then use it every couple days. You just walk over to the pool, pour it in, and it's really easy to maintain the pool with a liquid chlorine. Here they do not have liquid chlorine. The 2 options here are granules and tablets. And the tablets are the big tablets, the 3-inch tablets. I definitely do not want a floating tablet dispenser in the pool. To me, that just looks like above ground pool. That's what I had when I had my above ground pool. I don't like the look of it. In here in the pool room, I do have a tablet feeder. And I got this tablet feeder, and mostly the plan is to use it when we aren't here, we're gone for a week, and I need to maintain the pool, so I will shock it, get it up to a high chlorine level, and then put tablets in and get that running, and then we can leave for a week and hopefully come back and the pool isn't green. But I don't like really using tablets for everyday chlorinating. I've just never been able to get a real steady chlorine level with the tablets. So I think the reason that the chlorine tablets don't keep a steady level in the pool is because the demand for chlorine on the pool is going up and down, depending on, did anybody use the pool that day? Did that person have contaminants on them that used a lot of chlorine? Like, did they have sunscreen on, or were they sweaty, or all these different things that is going to cause a higher chlorine use and then deplete the chlorine in the pool more? Or did the pool just sit there all day and it was overcast and not much chlorine got used? And for that reason, it is difficult for me to keep the chlorine level very steady with tablets, so I don't like to use them. I prefer to check the pool chlorine every single day and adjust it. I usually adjust it every other day. I usually have to add chlorine every other day to keep the level, but then I don't get a big spike up and way above where it should be, and I don't get a big fall down below where it should be. I pretty much keep it right in that sweet spot where we want the chlorine to be. So what I am using here is a granular chlorine, and it is much more work than a liquid chlorine to use, because you get it in granular form, you have to mix it with water. You don't just want to dump the granular chlorine into the pool, because a large percentage of it will not dissolve like immediately, and then you end up with very caustic chlorine sitting on the bottom of the pool, and that's not good for the grout and the tiles or any of that. And so it's more work. It also is more dangerous to use it. You have to open up this big jug of chlorine granules, and when you do that, there's a lot of chlorine gas that comes out. It really does. I usually try to just take a big breath, hold my breath, get this thing open, get the chlorine out, get it closed back up before I take another breath. And that way I don't suck in any chlorine, because a couple times I really have taken a breath when this thing's open and you're over it. Oh my gosh, it burn your lungs, burn down your throat and down into your lungs. You can really feel it. It's not good. So, and the other reason, I wish there was another way. I don't like handling the chlorine. I don't think it's very good for your health long term. I try not to get especially the strong chlorine mixing in the bucket on me. So I try to mix it and get it into the pool without ever touching it. I think that chlorine absorbs through your skin, and I think that it's not good to have this super very strong chlorine mixture getting in contact with your skin. Now, could you wear gloves or something when you're doing it? Probably, but I have to do it so often. It's such a pain that would be very inconvenient and not easy. So I'm gonna get this out and mix up some chlorine and show you how it goes. I was just in editing part of the video you just watched, and I realized if I don't answer this question, I'm gonna get a ton of people asking it in the comments. So I'm gonna answer it right now. Why didn't you use a salt system for the pool chlorine instead of a chlorine system? And first, a salt-based system is still chlorine. You basically are using salt to generate chlorine, which then gets used and converted back into salt, and so this system continues, but the pool still has chlorine in it. People think that a salt pool doesn't have any chlorine in it. It does have chlorine in it. That's what's sanitizing the water in a saltwater pool. So why didn't we use a saltwater sanitation system instead of a chlorine-based sanitation system? The reason is because pool construction here is done differently, and the pool concrete structure is not very waterproof. In the US, they put up rebar frame and then they cover it with gunite, which is a very dense concrete, and it's a type of concrete they use to build dams out of because it is extremely waterproof concrete. And that prevents water from getting through the concrete to the rebar in the structure of the pool. If water gets through the rebar through the concrete to the rebar, it will start to rust. If you have a saltwater pool, then that rusting of the rebar is accelerated significantly because the salt helps to speed up that reaction. And if your rebar rusts in your pool wall, it's going to expand, crack the concrete, and then the pool starts leaking. And then if it gets really bad, you basically have to rip the entire shell of the pool out and start over from scratch. It's really bad. Now here, they build the pools out of concrete block. The rebar is in the middle of the concrete block and concreted in. It's all with poured concrete, and that concrete is not extremely waterproof. And so you're expecting more water is going to penetrate to that rebar. Now, so this makes pools here are not generally going to last as long as a gunite pool, and it accelerates the problem of having salt in the water, which will accelerate any water rusting the rebar that does get through. I did a lot of research on saltwater pools with block construction. I even had a guy come here that was an expert in this problem, and there have been multitudes of pools that were totally destroyed in a matter of 10 years or less because they used saltwater sanitation and the block construction, and the water got through and rusted the rebar and destroyed the pool. So to try to avoid having the pool self-destruct in just a few years, we're going with chlorine based, and hopefully we can keep this pool here for a long time without any problems. All right, get started here. Now I have the chlorine because it's a 50 kilo bucket, which is like 122 pounds. So I have it on a dolly that I use to roll it back into the pool room and then roll it out here because I don't want to open it up inside. Then it'll gas the whole place up with chlorine gas. So I won't talk any when I'm doing it because I'm going to hold my breath. So I will show you how it goes right here. And here's what the granular chlorine looked like. I can even smell it down here. Usually I don't talk when I do this. Dump it in the bucket here, then we're gonna close this back up so we can get this gas out of here, and then we'll continue. All right, I was going to show you this system. I didn't think about having to talk when I was doing this. Okay. Chlorine gas is mostly out of here now. That stuff really is bad. So this system for storing it, there's 2 bags inside of here. The chlorine's in the inner bag. So I actually seal both bags. Then there's this kind of seal lid that goes on underneath the big lid. Now it's pretty much all the way sealed. You aren't getting any gas, but then you go and put on the top lid. So now there's actually like 4 layers of sealing in here because, like I said, that chlorine gas is nasty. All right, let's put this back in here. And then we'll take it out and put it in the pool. Now, I used the little scoop I have, which is actually like a 1 liter ice cream container from our favorite ice cream place, to scoop it out so I didn't contact the chlorine at all, the granular chlorine, when I was putting it in the bucket. And now you can see it's in the bucket here. And then I'll show you how I do it here at the pool side. So the skimmer is right there. That's where it's sucking water in. So you want to get it as far away from the skimmer as possible. Now this might not seem like it's as far away from the skimmer as possible, but it actually is. This pool, because it's round, I have all the jets set up to create a circular flow. And you can even see it. The water is moving in a circular flow around the pool. And it actually works fantastic because everything just goes around in a circle and sucks right into the skimmer. Never have anything on the top of this pool. It works very good. And when we're putting in chemicals, you just want to be on the downstream side of the skimmer so that the chemicals will have to go all the way around the pool before they get back in here to go in the skimmer. And in that case, hopefully they've totally spread out into the water. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. So what I do is I take this bucket, pour it down in here, and that action will actually make it dissolve the chlorine. And then I'm gonna put it up here. Normally I just leave it in the water, but then I'm gonna pour out the chlorine that has dissolved. And you can see a little tiny bit of cloudiness there. And you can see that there's still a lot of chlorine in here that didn't dissolve. So I gotta repeat this cycle about 4 or 5 times, and then all the chlorine will be dissolved into the pool. One more time, and we will have it all done. And this works really good because when you push this down, the water really goes in there, so it actually agitates itself and dissolves this chlorine. And you always have a little teeny bit of granules that won't dissolve. But usually, once they get in the pool, they dissolve before they get to the bottom. All right, get it all in there. So as you can see, it's a lot more work than liquid chlorine to put in the granular chlorine. So I wish there was a source for liquid chlorine down here, but I've heard that even in Cabo, where they have much more infrastructure and much more pool infrastructure in Cabo, that they don't have granular chlorine or liquid chlorine there either. They just don't use it in Mexico, so it's only granular. I know that some of you who are really into pools and pool maintenance are going to ask me, why don't you use chlorine bleach instead of liquid chlorine? Now, chlorine bleach is a less concentrated form of chlorine, liquid chlorine. Some people do use chlorine bleach for their pools. I may do that in the future. I haven't really investigated it. And the reason being, when I went to fill this pool, when we first started it up, I went and bought this 50 kilogram bucket of chlorine because it was about literally 1/8 the cost of chlorine tablets or granular chlorine in a small container at the pool store. We have one pool store here in Loreto, and the markup is pretty high. This I bought at the hardware store, and by buying the huge 50 kilos and doing that, I think I bought 50 kilos of granular chlorine for, I want to say it was like 160 bucks. So 110 pounds of chlorine for that much is really a good deal. And I don't want to waste it. So the plan is to use this chlorine until it's gone. Now, I've been using it now. We've been open. The pool has been up and running November, December, January, February, March, almost all the way through April. So almost 6 months. And 6 months, I've used about 1/3 of that bucket. So I've used about 30 pounds of chlorine, granular chlorine, in 6 months. I do use acid in the pool also, and I'll show you what I have to do for acid here. Acid, you can get liquid or dry acid at the pool store. It is very, very expensive. If you want very cheap, you go to the hardware store and you buy domestic muriatic acid. It's the same muriatic acid that they sell at the pool store. This is less than $1 for a liter. And so that's, they sell at there, they don't sell for pools. They're selling it, of course, for doing like concrete work and etching and stuff like that. But it's the same stuff. It's the same muriatic acid that you get at the pool store, just way, way less expensive. Now, I do have some other stuff. I did have to use some algicide. It's so hot here that I do use algicide about once a month. If I don't, I will start to get algae blooms. Algicide, super expensive. This is a 5 liter, so 1.32 gallons. It's probably about 6 or 7 monthly treatments, and I think it was about $132. So the last thing I've got to do today down here at Pufferfish Villas is repair this door, finish the repair of this door. So this is villa number 2. Nobody's in here, I think, till tomorrow. And when our cleaners were in here yesterday cleaning, they noticed that this door was delaminating. These are just hollow core doors. They're basically made out of almost cardboard. I've seen these things delaminate before where the face material delaminates from the core. That's what happened here. So I glued this all back up, and now we'll take off the clamps and see if my glue worked. All right, let's see if my fix works. So I put a board on here to keep the laminate sheet on the front totally flat and connecting the whole way. And I use just a basic wood glue, white wood glue for this. White wood glue is very, very strong. It makes a very good bond. And unfortunately, as I expected, I got some glue underneath that. I knew that yesterday. So now I'm gonna have to repaint this door. Now I'm gonna use this little tiny touch-up brush. I like to use this for little stuff. It doesn't make a huge mess, easier to clean, and works pretty good. In fact, sometimes I'll use a little tiny paintbrush like you'd use to paint, paintings or oil paintings or something like that, because it's just so much easier than getting a big paintbrush out when you're doing stuff like this. So we'll put it on. Definitely going to take a couple coats. So we'll just get this first coat on, kind of seal it up again, and then we'll put additional coats on. All right, well, 4 coats later, you can see here, I keep the brush in this Ziploc and between coats, and then you don't have to worry about it. And now I'll go clean it out, no problem, and it looks pretty good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and seen a little sneak peek of my days. We're gonna have a lot of cool stuff coming up, so you aren't gonna wanna miss it. Subscribe if you haven't, and please give us a like by hitting that like button, and never forget to live before you die.